In the previous video, we see Anthea meet Richard, and we also know how Richard became evil, and Richard is also waiting for them for their next encounter. Now Anthea go to the palace. After that, Anthea states that Emperor Thenston has never once rejected her request. He provides everything she asks for and even hired a tutor for her studies. Whatever Anthea learns, she also teaches to Blake too. Anthea tells a story to Blake. 1,000 years ago, in the time of the Zelkon Empire, the written word was reserved for only those in high society because books back then were quite pricey and made of lambskin. Blake says, but all those books get burned. Anthea says, yes. Anthea continues, after the fall of the Zelkon Empire, the Asteric Empire was established, and the Raum family tried hard to revive the Zelkon era. The fifth prince of the Zelkon imperial family, Lakshal, was the head of the movement, and they were growing more aggressive by the day. They even set fire to the Fenlarn palace hoping to take out Emperor Philip. Suddenly, Anthea starts hearing the noise of a woman. The woman was also in the Fenlarn palace when the palace is burning. She was begging to open the door and saying, how could you do this to her? Did you start the fire? Blake asks her if she is all right. She says yes and starts reading again. The Fenlarn palace had been burned down, but Emperor Philip was unharmed. Lakshal had predicted that their efforts would go to waste, so he destroyed all the texts that were written in the language of the Zelkon Empire. Suddenly, Blake's curse gets triggered, and he was in pain. Anthea asks him if he is all right. Blake says yes, but Anthea knows how he always tries to hide his pain face with his smile. She tells him to take some rest. Anthea sits on her bed, tells him to come and take a nap. Blake gets very embarrassed. Blake tells her he will not sleep on this bed because it's Anthea's bed. He slept with Anthea many times, but now he was shy to sleep because it's a woman's bed. What a crazy dude he is. Finally, they both get into bed, and Anthea pats him. Anthea touches him to check on him, but he has no fever. Blake is blushing, and his heart beats rapidly. Anthea apologizes for being useless, saying that if she had the power of light, he would not have to suffer in pain like this anymore. Blake says he is the happiest husband because he has a wonderful and loving, caring wife with him. Anthea is very happy to hear this, and then they both fall asleep. In the next morning, Anthea wakes up and checks on him again. But everything seems to be normal. She curses herself, saying why she falls asleep when Blake's condition could get worse. Blake also wakes up, and Anthea asks him to stay with her for today. Blake agrees because Anthea wants to see if he is really in good condition or not. Anthea pinches his cheeks because of his cute expression. Anthea also gets lots of letters from Diana today. Blake asks Anthea if Diana finished her winter training. Anthea says yes, and she will write a letter to her. Blake says he will meet Diana on her holiday. While Anthea is reading letters, she notices the red rose which was given by Blake. Blake comes from behind and hugs her, asking what she is doing. There are also other ways to ask her. Blake says now his age is 11, and he is a man now. But Anthea tells him she is 2 whole years older than him. Blake gets emotionally damaged and remains silent. From the bottom of her heart, Anthea is really happy to see Blake in good condition, and his cute reaction may give her a little heart attack. She hugs him, saying she has the cutest husband in the whole world. In the morning, Anthea makes some delicious dish from milk called tofu, and everyone enjoys this dish and starts complimenting her. She blushes. When Anthea is going to give some of the dish to Majesty, suddenly, a cat comes near her. She picks him up and asks him where did he go. His answer is meow. Now, Blake comes with a cold intention, takes the cat away from her, and says he will take care of this cat. Anthea leaves, and Unhan, who became the cat, has a bad feeling. What's going to happen to him? He tries to run away from Prince Blake, but it seems like he can't move. It's like Prince Blake has done some magic on him. Prince, with a cold glare, asks him who he is. Unhan is in very big trouble. Blake says he knows him. He was not a cat. Unhan cannot hide his personality now. Blake asks him why he always snoops on him and Anthea. It only reminds Blake of a mysterious person who appears and heals him every time he is sick when he was young. When Blake got his mark, he had been banished to the annex, and he could not sleep at night because of his curse. Every night he was tormented by nightmares and the pain ripping through his skin. He called his father for help every night, but he never came. Suddenly, a man in black appeared. He healed Blake even when Blake was in pain. He now knows this man by his scent, and he smells the same scent from that cat. Unhan thinks Blake already knows but him. He reveals himself and greets him. He reveals his name and that he was a loyal servant to Emperor Thenston. Emperor Thenston had ordered him to protect Prince Blake in secret. Blake never expected that his father is the one who sent Unhan for his care. Blake asks him why he reveals himself when he was supposed to guard him secretly. Unhan apologizes, saying he was just attracted by the crown princess's food, and that food reminds him of his hometown. Unhan was going to report this to His Majesty and receive his punishment. Blake tells him not to do that, and he will not like it if he gets punished for guarding him secretly. But Blake comes closer to him and tells him to never get near Anthea ever again. Unhan gets frozen by his words. Blake warns him not to try anything like this with his wife again. Suddenly, Blake thinks he was just Anthea's type. On the other side, Anthea goes to visit Emperor Thenston. Servant Colin is very happy to see her. When she comes to meet Emperor Thenston, Servant Colin gets the chance to go home earlier. It's like she's a goddess of home to him. Emperor Thenston also gives him permission to go home, and Servant Colin goes to his home. After Servant Colin leaves, Emperor Thenston tells Anthea to sit together and have dinner. At first, Anthea is a bit shy, but they sit together for lunch. Anthea then presents the dish, which is still warm. Emperor Thenston asks her, "What is this dish?" Anthea tells him this dish is made of milk and some beans which Emperor Thenston gifted to her. Anthea also tells him that Prince Blake helped her peel the beans. Anthea says if he ever visited the auxiliary palace and saw Prince Blake how he focused on peeling beans, he would really love it. After hearing this, Emperor Thenston asks her how Blake is doing. Anthea says he was fine. She is very happy to see Emperor Thenston is always worried about his son. Emperor Thenston also asked about her condition. Anthea said she was all right, and then they started eating. I can feel my mouth watering just by looking at the tofu dish. After dinner, Emperor Thenston asks her if she wants anything. But this time, Anthea will not refuse this chance. And this time, Anthea's demand is very dangerous. Anthea says she wants to go to the Fenlarn Palace. Emperor Thenston is shocked after hearing this. In the past, the Fenlarn Palace was the last imperial palace of the Zelkon Empire, and the first imperial palace of the Asteric Empire. After bringing down the Zelkon Empire, known for the persecution of the people out of indulgence and hedonism, Emperor Philip founded the Asteric Empire. Philip believed the people had suffered enough and did not wish to add to their toil, so he simply renamed the Zelkon Palace as the Fenlarn Palace and moved in. However, his good intentions only brought tragedy. Blackshaw, the last Zelkon imperial prince, used a secret passageway in the Fenlarn Palace to raid it and set it on fire. The overwhelming flames persevered for over a month, consuming not only the Fenlarn Palace but also the region of Khan, the capital of Zelkon, in its destructive path. As a result, the Fenlarn Palace, along with Khan, became forbidden land. Now, in the present, Emperor Thenston asks her the reason to go to the Fenlarn Palace. Anthea says she might find some clues about the lithography at the Fenlarn Palace. The reason why Anthea wants to go is that she had a short vision scene during class with Blake a few days ago. A woman screams, "The scorching blaze of fire," a space splendidly decorated with jewelry and lithography. This must have been in the Fenlarn Palace, that's why she wanted to go. Emperor Thenston tells her that the land in the Fenlarn Palace was completely consumed by a great fire and contaminated by dark magic, and he will not send her off to such a dangerous palace. Anthea says she will only visit the Fenlarn Palace and won't take a long time. But Emperor Thenston tells her it is a forbidden land, and the last words of the first emperor are enough to forbid any member of the royal family from going there. Anthea says she just worries about Blake, and if she goes there, she might find a way to free Blake from his curse, and she requests him to let her go to the Fenlarn Palace. Emperor Thenston is worried about her and does not want her to put in danger, but seeing Anthea's determination to protect Blake, he gives her only a once chance to go to the palace. Then Anthea is very happy and thanks him. On late night in the Imperial Palace, Unhan is sitting on the roof, thinking about how he got caught by Prince Blake while keeping an eye on Anthea as a cat. He sees Emperor Thenston is still awake and sitting on the sofa. Unhan secretly and silently enters the Emperor's room. Emperor Thenston also notices his presence. Seeing Emperor Thenston in this outfit, isn't he looking like a hot father? Unhan apologizes to His Majesty for the late night disturbance. But Emperor Thenston was waiting for him, and Unhan was ready to His Majesty's command. But tonight, Emperor Thenston is not going to command him. It's the first time he is asking a favor, Unhan to entrust the protection and safeguarding of the crown princess. He wishes for Unhan to stay by the princess's side and protect her. Unhan gets nervous. He never expected that His Majesty would make such a request. Let me clarify. Emperor is saying to protect Anthea like a bodyguard, not like a husband. Unhan understands his assignments and accepts it. He also says he will protect Crown Princess if His Majesty will not tell him to do. Emperor Thenston is happy to hear this and thanks him. After that, the day had finally come when Anthea would go to the Fenlarn Palace. But first, she wanted to keep this fact from Blake. Anthea lied to him, saying that she is going to the Imperial Palace and will be back late. Blake, with a smile, told her to take her time with zero doubt. Anthea, feeling guilty, asked him to take care of himself while practicing swordsmanship. Finally, they both held hands, and Blake told her to have a safe trip, making a single person like me jealous. But I'm happy to see them together always. When Anthea was in the carriage, Blake waved goodbye to her. Isn't this scene cute? While going, Anthea prayed that she would find a clue or cure to break Prince Blake's curse. When she reached the Imperial Palace, she went straight to the secret room on the 3rd floor. There, she was totally surprised because his father was already there waiting for her with an unknown person. Anthea apologized for being late and asked his father who that unknown person was. Unhan, who already knew her, was nervous. Emperor Thenston introduced that person as Unhan, who would escort her to the Fenlarn Palace. Anthea was still confused, wondering that she had met him before. Dear Anthea, Unhan is a cat you used to play, hug, and feed him. Unhan kneeled down, greeting the crown princess. Anthea also remembered him not as a cat, but as an imperial prince of Chang. In the past, Unhan was the imperial prince of Chang, a great grand empire of the East. He was about to be executed because he was chosen by the ominous Black Dragon. He fled all the way to the Astaric Empire, and Emperor Thenston discovered the battered Unhan and healed him. Emperor Thenston took in Unhan, who was in a predicament similar to him, and truly cared for Unhan. Unhan, in turn, devoted himself faithfully to Emperor Thenston. Unhan followed Emperor Thenston's command and protected Blake. When he would get sick, Unhan would even heal Blake. That's why Blake also remembered him, but as a mysterious person. Unhan was the shadow planted by Emperor Thenston to protect Blake. Now, in the present, Emperor Thenston told her that he had entrusted Unhan with the security of the crown prince. He apologized to her for not telling her sooner, but Unhan took all the blame of Emperor Thenston on him and said it was his fault for not telling her this sooner. Anthea thanked him for keeping his highness and her safe. Emperor Thenston gave her a present, and Anthea asked him, "What is this?" Emperor Thenston said it's a present that will protect her. It's a purity tool made in a temple, and it will help protect her against dark magic. Anthea thanked him for such a precious gift. Emperor Thenston said Unhan would use his magic to teleport her to the Fenlarn Palace, and he would go with her. If he or she encountered any danger, then return immediately. Anthea saw his father, who always worried about her, saying his father's face is a national treasure, and Unhan also agreed with her. Now his father controlled his laugh, where Anthea knew that the father and son were so weak to compliment. Now, without wasting time, Anthea was ready to go. Unhan hesitated and told her that she needed to hold his hand to use teleportation magic. At first, Anthea blushed, thinking of his reaction. They held hands, and Unhan told her to close her eyes and relax. Unhan then used his magic to teleport them to the Fenlarn Palace. When they arrived, the surroundings were very dark, the sky was red, and the Fenlarn Palace was completely burned. She was very shocked to see the palace in such ruins. She wasn't expecting it to be so desolate. Unhan noticed that the land had been contaminated with dark magic and told his highness to return immediately. Anthea said that they had just arrived and she would take a look around the palace. They approached the palace, and the dark magic grew stronger. Unhan told her to return, but Anthea insisted on going farther. Anthea saw a stone slab with text written on it. She noticed the text was written in ancient text, Rauman language. Unhan asked her what was written on the stone slab, and Anthea read, "The great emperor of Raum, Lakshal, let it be known. The heavens chose the great Raum, and Raum followed the heavens' wishes to establish the Zelkon Empire, and nurture it into a great empire. However, its people were ignorant and ungrateful, jealous of Raum's power, and amongst them, Philips, with power received from the goddess of light, destroyed the Zelkon Empire and founded a new empire. In the year 687 of the empire, on September 1st, Lakshal planned to bring down the Altera Palace to restore law and order. I shall punish Philips and the wicked group that dared to covet Raum's seat. Foolish subjects, submit yourselves to Raum. If you refuse, everything Raum has bestowed upon you will be taken away. The land of Khan shall be enshrouded by darkness and forever erode away in suffering." Anthea read what the stone slab said. Unhan was also surprised by her skill. Anthea asked for his opinion about the text, and Unhan said it was pathetic and heinous. He asked for her opinion on this stone slab, and Anthea said that the stone slab criticizes Lakshal and Raum. Or maybe it was written by Raum's hater because Philips was the biggest enemy of the Raum family at the time. However, the stone slab doesn't contain a single criticism of Philip. Unhan said maybe Emperor Philip erected this stone slab by himself. Anthea agreed with Unhan's point, and there is a good chance that this stone slab wasn't erected by Lakshal, or a member of the Raum family. It was probably done by Phillips. When Anthea touched the stone slab, the purity tool glowed bright, and she got a vision of a woman asking Philip, "What is this stone slab? How could he do something like this so inhuman?" Philip got angry and told her to watch her words, stating that he is an emperor now, and if any misguided disrespect continues, he will not forgive her. Unhan woke up Anthea from her vision and asked her if she was all right. Anthea said she felt very dizzy, and Unhan told her it might be happening because of dark magic. He told her they should head back now, but Anthea insisted on staying a bit longer here. Unhan told her that His Majesty gave an order to return immediately if she or he finds any danger. But suddenly Unhan felt something dangerous, and he carried Anthea on his arm and apologized to her for his rudeness and started running. Anthea was also shocked by Unhan's reaction. There they noticed a bunch of demons surrounding them. And our video ends. In the next part, we will see whether they are going to fight with the demons or if they will simply avoid the demons and run away for their lives. Thank you for watching our video. I hope you like this video. For the next part, click on the left side of this screen. Please like our video and subscribe to our channel.